Hello, everyone. How you doing?
Hello.
All right. I want to welcome everyone to our mental health ministry monthly presentation entitled Social Media and Your Mental Health. Everyone that's watching on social media, if you all could do me a favor and go ahead and begin sharing the post to help us increase our viewership and make sure that people that you care about are able to get this good information. Hello, Loretta. How you doing, madam? Go ahead and share the post for us. Sister Hill, thank you for joining us. Go ahead and share the post for us, and I would be greatly appreciative. Again, want to welcome everyone to our mental health ministry monthly presentation, and it's entitled Social Media and Your Monthly Health. And so let's go ahead and share this post. Let's get the word out there so that people that you care about can receive this this presentation that we have that's coming before that'll be presented today. All right, I'm going to put it in the hands of our co-coordinator of our mental health ministry, Sister Roxalina Rawls.
First, giving honor to God. Pastor Rawls, thank you again for another opportunity and a platform to share this information about mental wellness. I really appreciate it. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our monthly mental health conversation. Katrina Rawls Hernandez and myself, Roxalina Rawls, are the mental health ministry team at Greater Bethel Church. And I will be the presenter for this evening. We do also have a special guest this evening that's joining us, Kaylin Hilliard. Are you on?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, good evening and welcome. If you don't mind, I would like to share some background information with the individuals that are listening in about you. Kaylin Hilliard is a registered clinical social work intern and a master's level therapist. Ms. Hilliard was born and raised in Gainesville. She is the daughter of Paris Owens and Ike Hilliard, and also the granddaughter of Danny and Aura Grant. Kaylin received her bachelor's degree in psychology and a minor in sociology in 2019, and a master's of social work in 2021, both from Florida AME University. Kaylin, also known as KK, we go back many, many years. She grew up and attended Greater Bethel Church, and she is a child of God. Welcome home, Kaylin. Since Kaylin has worked extensively with children, teens, and young adults in the field of social work and mental therapy at the Alachua County Sheriff's Office, as a mentor and the NSORO Education Foundation based in Atlanta, Georgia, and is presently in her present position, I'm certain we will be interested in Kayla sharing her experiences and professional opinion on social media and our mental health. So let's get started. After I present some of the basic social media facts and the opinions, other mental health clinicians, we will hear from Kaylin Hilliard. So let's get started on the presentation first. Over the past few months or so, a few individuals, young adults and parents and grandparents have approached me with the question, does the use of social media have a negative impact on our mental wellness? I thought it would be an interesting and relevant topic for tonight's discussion. So our first slide. Social media is a virtual ecosystem today. It's been around for at least 20 plus years. So social media platforms, social media apps, and social media sites. So for those of us, including myself, who may not be familiar with social media sites, here are some of the top social media sites as of 2022. Facebook, monthly active users is estimated about 2.9 billion. And of course, Facebook, which some are familiar with, we get the opportunity to share with individual, our friends, our family, acquaintances. And here at Greater Bethel, our pastor uses Facebook quite a lot to announce activities, events, either future or past, and also the weekly updates of what's going on in the church. Another site would be YouTube, 2.9 billion monthly users. YouTube includes videos, tutorials, and you can also watch original TV programs as well as a series of movies. Another site would be WhatsApp, that's WHATS app, 2 billion users, built with small business and entrepreneurs in mind, where they get an opportunity to share information and ideas. Instagram, 2 billion users, where there are photos and video sharing apps. Twitter, 1 billion plus, which is micro blogging and social networking services. WeChat, which is 1.26 billion users. And that particular site supports video, voice, and text chat, and has unique features like vocalized translations. And this other particular media item, I'm sure Pastor Rawls, you're familiar with this one. TikTok? Oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. Are you familiar with that? I remember that during one of your sermons. And that particular one is a platform that is from China, and it's Douyin. Video-focused social networking as a service famous for pranks, stunts, jokes, tricks, and dance. So just to name a few, there are many, many more, but for those such as myself that are not familiar with a lot of the social media sites, I just want to share that with you. Our next slide. So there's a lot of sharing going on between children, teenagers, youth, adults, and even senior citizens. And it's shared either locally with maybe your neighbor, the local friend, nationally, and all over the world. Slide 3. How long will social media exist? Who knows? 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? We don't know. And it may evolve into even something even bigger than what it is now. Slide 4. Social media currently meets the needs we all have. And I don't know whether that is a true statement or a false statement. Does it truly meet all of the needs that we have? And I just go back and I think about, for the last 2.5 years, maybe even 3 years, there's been a lot of people that have been behind doors and windows, and some that live by themselves. Does social media have the ability to really meet their needs? And for others that are locked behind doors and they have social media, maybe it's meeting a limited need. We'll talk about that more as we go in deeper into our presentation and discussion. We are social creatures. God made us that way. And last week, our presiding elder made an interesting point, Tony Hansberry. I remember one of the individuals gave a report indicating that the viewing in one particular area, and I think it was probably during our church services, had dropped. And presiding elder he said, I wonder what happened. And someone commented in terms of, well, Elder, did you maybe think about it, that maybe more people have returned to church attendance? And he made the point of saying, social media is fine virtually, but people miss out on that fellowship. And so, through that fellowship, people are able to do the thumb bump, either hug or kiss, or, make that touch. And that may be one component that social media may be lacking in. But for the most part, it does have a lot of benefits, which we'll discuss even later. Some individuals are possibly maybe shy and they don't feel comfortable in talking with individuals. So they're able to make contact through social media and interact with them, but without interacting in the real world. So let's look at some of the benefits as well as the drawbacks. But before we do that, could I see the next slide, Pastor? Let's see what the mental professionals have to say about social media and our mental health. Social media can be a disorder, and it's defined as a behavior addiction and has been associated with depression, loneliness, narcissism, low self-esteem, poor sleep quality, and low academic and work performance. Ostracism may also exist. That is when an individual may feel they are being ignored or excluded by others. Social media disorder is when the social media starts affecting the mental health and physical well-being of an individual. Now, as we speak, I just want to make this notation. Social media has not been officially classified as a disorder. There's further research that's being done, and but it has not officially, it's not in our handbook or mental health handbook as we speak. So I thought that we could dig a little bit deeper and look at what some of the professionals are saying regarding social media and its effects. Dr. Sperling is a clinical psychologist at the McLean Hospital in Cambridge, Massachusetts, who works with individuals, such teens and adults, who have experienced disorders that are related to social media. Based on her clinical work as a trained mental health professional, she feels social media has a reinforcing nature. It activates the brain's reward center by releasing dopamine, a feel-good chemical linked to pleasurable activities such as sex, food, and social interaction. Some of the social media platforms, and not all, are designed to be addictive and are associated with anxiety, depression, and even physical ailments. So she highlights a particular study, the Pew Research Center, which classifies 69% of adults and 81% of teens in the United States use social media. This puts a large amount of the population at an increased risk of feeling anxious, depressed, or ill over social media use. So you're probably wondering, what makes individuals come back for more, even when it can literally make them feel sick? And she quotes, "When the outcome is unpredictable, the behavior is more likely to repeat. Think of a slot machine. If game players knew they never were going to get money by playing the game, then they would never play. The idea of a potential future reward keeps the machines in use. The same goes for social media sites. One does not know how many likes a picture will get and who will like the picture and when the picture will receive likes. The unknown outcome and the possibility of a desired outcome can keep users engaged in the sites. So in other words, to boost self-esteem and feel a sense of belonging in their social circles, people post contents with the hope of receiving positive feedback. Couple that content with the structure of potential future rewards, and you get a recipe for constantly checking the platform. When reviewing others' social activity, people tend to make comparisons such as, did I get as many likes as someone else? Or why didn't this person like my post, but this other one did? They're searching for validation on the internet that serves as a replacement for meaningful connection they might otherwise make in real life. Go back to the doctor's original statement. Some of the drawbacks may bring about anxiety, depression, or become ill as a result of the use of social media. So I would like now to share a YouTube video about the benefits and the drawbacks of using social media.
I used to be on every social network I could find. At first, it was just to keep in touch with friends, but I used it so much, it actually got in the way of my personal connections with people.
I've had to learn to manage my time when it came to social media. I found so much online to like, comment on, and share that I often lost track of time, and then I'd feel guilty. I had to take control.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie, and I've experienced some of the advantages and some of the disadvantages of social media firsthand. This is my story. A friend reached out after reading one of my posts on social media. She was really concerned. You see, I broke down and wrote about how isolated I felt on campus. It was my first year of college and my first time making decisions as an adult. I've always been a little shy, so meeting people on social media was a bit easier for me than connecting with people in person. I could also find out about events going on around campus, join online study groups, and keep in touch with friends back home. As the semester progressed, I stopped meeting new people in person and I stayed in my room more and more. I had to read each and every response to my posts. I wanted to know exactly what people had to say about me, no matter if their words were good or bad. I had more friends on social media than ever, so why did I feel so lonely?
Hey Mackenzie, pizza downstairs. Come meet our new neighbors.
I didn't go. I felt nervous about meeting new people. Then I started thinking, why am I even paying to be in college? I wasn't enjoying my time and my grades continued to fall. After months of feeling this way, I reached a breaking point. I posted, I don't think I can do this anymore. College isn't anything like I expected, and I can't rely on anyone. One of my friends immediately responded,
I'm coming over. Stay where you are.
Online relationships shouldn't be the only ones we have. There are lots of great things about social media, like giving support, feeling less lonely, sharing ideas, feeling understood, and having a sense of community. But there may also be drawbacks to too much social media use, like increased nervousness and sadness and lower self-esteem. I am glad that Leela came over to listen as I talked about the ups and downs of my experience on social media. She helped me find resources that allow me to put guardrails on my social media use. I realized that I needed to balance my time on social media with meaningful personal interactions offline. Little by little, I started to step away from my computer. I even worked up the courage to join Leela at some campus events. Here are 5 tips that have helped me on my journey to better mental health while being active on social media. 1, I monitor my screen time. I keep track of how much time I spend on social media. My phone actually has an app that helps with this, making it easy to monitor. 2, I'm more selective with the people I connect with. Before making a new connection on social media, I take a moment and ask myself if this connection is something I need or want. 3, I take a break from social media. Every week, I choose a day where I enjoy my life without social media as a conscious choice. It isn't always easy, but it is an important rule for me. 4, I'm mindful of why I use it, whether it's to escape or to connect. If I spend too much time using it as an escape, it's a sign I should take a break for a period, so I make an adjustment. I can then use my offline time to get some fresh air, play my guitar, or pick up a book. 5, I limit where and when I use it. I don't take my electronic devices out during meals, and I make a point not to use them while talking with others. I also turn them off an hour before bed. By practicing these tips, I feel more in control of my time, and my mental health has improved. With time, I've managed to improve my relationships both online and offline. It isn't always easy, but managing my social media use is one of the many techniques I use to keep my mental health on the right track.
Okay. I'd like to open it up at this particular time for any comments or feedback or thoughts. What are your thoughts? Any feedback? Any questions?
Yeah. Can you hear me, Sister
Yes.
Ross? Yeah,
Yes.
that's very interesting in the video because when that social media stuff first come out, I wasn't good at typing and all that stuff, no way. But it really all to me it never was an escape to me. It always to me was just entertainment, and I guess sometimes just to be nosy. But some people take that stuff serious, and friends and family. I even told my son, I said, he said we didn't realize we had, for an example, that many relatives. I said, yeah, they two types. The ones that and Facebook cousins. Some of these people on here you'll never see in life personally. You'll never see them, and I don't think it's really wise sometimes to get too deep in those type of relationships with Facebook cousins that popped up now that you had all the time. And most of them are distance because if they was like cousins, you'd have knew something about them. And then when you go down into cell phones and different type of, I don't think the bedroom at bedtime is a time that you want to be on that, because what it does, it throws you off what the bedroom is for. Not saying to do anything, whatever you want to do, but I think that's to me is a time to look at TV, a time to do anything in the world but being on the cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I've seen the times when people, well, it'll be too obvious on that. Well, sometimes you can wake up. Sometimes I woke up out of sleep and couldn't hardly sleep, in the cell phone right there, and I'll just go on TikTok or something just to, instead of just trying to concentrate on going back to bed. And I think sometimes that can be habit forming, sometimes in the wrong way. And I think, what I look back and say what I did before that stuff come out, then you can't do that because it ain't gonna change, so we're gonna have to change with it and try to come up with other means to kind of get away from that stuff, because it says something when either a good show on or just something relaxing, and it's more something going on in that cell phone. And sometimes your mind go to one, what is they talking about? What did they tell you? And it can't be business or nothing going on that time of day where you got to go to bed with it. And I think the bedroom and the bed, not the bedroom, but the bedroom could be a study place. But I think once you get in the bed, I think the cell phone should be cut off.
Okay.
Now, that's just me. That's just me.
So you see it as a drawback, and you feel that it should be monitored. The use should be monitored.
There you go. There go the word I'm trying to get out. Yeah, I think it should be monitored. There's nothing wrong with it. If that's before you go to bed, you just want to take a look at some, say good, speak to somebody, because I'm not good with texting. So I really can't say it's a downfall because I don't know how to do it. But I think at a time, it should be a cutoff time for that type of social media stuff, whatever you're doing on it. I think should be a cutoff time for it.
Okay. Thanks.
Not like every night, 8 o'clock, not like that. But I'm just saying, just common sense stuff, common courtesy.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. Any other comments or feedback?
Hi, this is Joan. I actually use my phone quite a bit in the morning. If I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, that's my time with the Lord, because I feel like he woke me up for some reason. If it's at 3:30 or 5:30 or 6:30, that's my time with the Lord. And I do my devotion, I pray, and I read scripture. I go back and I do some other things, things that's pertaining to the lesson that I'm reading. And then I also do it at night. And then I go to sleep. And that's it.
So in terms of the use of your phone, you're not on the social media, or you're basically saying?
I am, as far as Bible app, but not really Facebook or whatever. And every now and then, after I'm done with everything, I may play a game, and it's usually a word puzzle. And that's in the bed.
Okay.
Not all day, because I do look at Facebook, and I do some other things, but I don't stay on there continuously.
Okay. So you're basically saying you pretty much monitor your use of social media and select the times that you want to go. You have boundaries in terms of when you want to spend on social media and when you do not.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or feedback?
Yeah, my thoughts are when you're an adult, you monitor and manage your life. You know what's best for you. If you see other things slipping, I mean you can go to church too much, and neglect other things in your life. And so I think that when you're an adult, you monitor your life, you make sure that you're managing your life and managing your time. But now how you do it, that's it's a personal thing. Some people may get into one thing, some people may get into another. I'm sure when the telephone came out, I'm sure there were some people that were like, in the 60s or 50s or something like that, they're doing too much now. Okay, we don't have to climb this pole anymore. And now they got phones in their houses, and it's just too much. We need to slow it down. But time moves on. You monitor children, but when it comes to an adult, those adults determine how their life is working, and they manage their life. They see signs that something is being neglected, and then you go and see, what can I do to make sure that I'm not neglecting things, or make sure I'm not abusing something or overindulging in something. But as it relates to technology, it's here, and I appreciate it.
So you make an interesting point in terms of adults versus maybe young adults or teenagers, where social media came about during most of the older adults. We didn't know anything about social media until 15, 20 years. But what about
none of us, Roxy, none of us knew anything about social media until 15 or 20 years ago. It's something that we were using MySpace in 2007. And so, and so all of this stuff is new to pretty much everybody. This is stuff that's happened in the last 15 years or so.
Okay, but what about teenagers? I guess my point is, what about teenagers that are young adults that know nothing else but that? It's a lot easier, I think, as adults, because we didn't have that for most of our life. So for teens, do I have any young adults or teenagers on the line? Or if not, maybe Caitlin, I know that you have had a lot of experiences with dealing with children, teenagers, and young adults. What has been happening in their world in terms of what you see connected with social media and their mental health?
Can everyone hear me? Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Kaylin Hilliard. Ms. Roxy did a wonderful job introducing me. As she reiterated, I am a mental health professional. I am a therapist at Florida Therapy based in Tallahassee, Florida. I've had intricate experience with young adults, and I am a young adult myself. I'm only 25 years old. So, Pastor Rawls, you hit it right on the head. MySpace didn't come about until 2007. We didn't really start getting intricate with social media, I want to say around like 2005 era, 2005, 2006. I don't know if you young adults here are old enough to know about Soulja Boy, but that's when YouTube came about. That's when posting videos came about. And then they started integrating that into MySpace, where you can use these different apps in order to integrate music, select an intricate profile, and kind of communicate with different individuals around the nation. So social media has continued to develop over the last 15 and 20 years. And what I've seen as a mental health professional is the growth of that. I've seen the innovation of the lack of the communication or even communicatory efforts. There are positive and negatives, as you spoke of, Ms. Roxy, as far as there being drawbacks, but there also being benefits. I see a big benefit right now. We're all looking at each other on a Zoom call. I'm pretty sure you young people did not know how to navigate a Zoom call, because I didn't know how to navigate a Zoom call until about 3 years ago. So it is continuing to evolve, but it does have, that's just what I've seen working with most of the adolescents that I've used. Sometimes you can abuse it, or you can use it for a positive or for the greater good. It's all about how you look at how you can control the narrative and not make one, if that makes sense. So what I mean by that is you can do something great as far as approving your story and making sure that you are only adapting to you and not to anyone else, or you can have some negatives and you can get really addicted to it.
Okay. Have you seen a lot of negatives or in your practice, or is it a balance? What are you seeing in terms of the negative? Well, what are the use, or could you elaborate on that?
Yes, ma'am. I see honestly a balance. I've seen people where I would connect with my alma mater and do outreach within the community. We will formulate groups. We will formulate different communities within our groups to make sure that we're doing services, that we are collaborating as far as like young Black innovators. And I've also seen some negatives when I would have to get onto my kids about them posting things that are inappropriate or posting things that they don't mean, but it also kind of draws back to how common sense nowadays really isn't common. Some of the things that we may take as professionals or as adults, some of these kids nowadays don't understand that because they don't have an understanding of it from any mentorships or peers or young adults that they can trust. It all starts back with adequate communication. COVID has shut down a lot of our adequate communication skills. I can't really have meaningful conversations with people anymore because some people really don't know how. So I do see a balance of the both. It's more of, do you want to make the change to the situation, or are you going to innovate a cause to continue to induce the negatives instead of making positives?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think social media is a tool. And you have to decide how will you use the tool. You have a hammer. You could do it one way. You can use it to hammer a nail into a piece of wood, or you could use that same hammer to crush a block. It's how do you want to use that tool. And when I think of the church, imagine not being able to go to the church for 2 years. Many churches died and came on life support. over the last, I've only been here since, but not even a whole year and a half. And we've had 20% growth during the pandemic. But that, believe me, that would not have happened without social media. Without social media, there would have been any growth. And so it's about how do you use the tool? And so learn about the tool, why the tool was created, and then be intentional about how will I use this tool? And then have to always be business. I can use this. I do this thing called Grand Friday with my grandbabies. If I ever like not post something on a Friday for 2 weeks, I have people inboxing me saying, please post. I get so much encouragement from you spending time with your grandchildren. And so using this tool, I get a chance to control, because you don't see my whole life. You see what I want you to see. You don't see my whole ministry. You see what I want you to see, but it's for a purpose. I'm trying to grow the ministry. And with my grandchildren, I'm trying to encourage family and encourage people. And so it's how you use the tool.
So we keep hearing that word. We keep hearing the word monitoring your usage. How are you using? Are you using it for the good? Or are you using it for...
When you say monitoring,
no,
I didn't necessarily mean
people. I guess I'm hearing more and more is how you monitor it and how you use it. If you use it for the good, then you're right on. Yes, sir. Yes.
I was going to say, I can actually touch on that. So with social media kind of growing and incorporating into kind of a national phenomenon, that I would say, there are different ways that researchers are putting forth effort in order to monitor. If you all have an iPhone, it can schedule your screen time. So at the end of every week on Sunday, it gives you your screen report so that you can look at it and you can see how much you're using on different apps. You can see how much power or battery that you're draining. There are also various algorithms. If any of you do not know what algorithms are, those are posts that are created by your personal information that you may not even be aware of. So with different phones, whether they be iPhones or Androids, they will take your personal information that you're looking at. Say you're shopping in Walmart, say you're shopping in Target. And if you're scrolling on social media, you may get an ad for Target. And that's not coincidental. It's the fact that they're picking up on your personal algorithms. So your carbon footprint has a lot to do with the way that social media has evolved over these years. Facebook is now integrating into Meta, which is owned by not only Facebook, the old Facebook, but it's also owned by Instagram. Twitter is doing a new update to where they have to have a subscription to where you are using a pro version of Twitter. So there's different ways that researchers are kind of integrating this research in. You just may not be aware of it because it's happening right here. And it's so scary and broad now that you think about it. But there's a lot of ways that affects people without them even being aware, thus creating the impulse of lack of mental health because you don't know how you're getting indulged in it until it's actually presented in front of you.
And that's all. I'm so glad Caitlin brought that up because I think some older people, that's where their fear comes from. How do they know this about me? Why do they know this about me? Where did that come from? And but it's not all evil. It's about, it's about making money. And but I'm so glad Caitlin brought that up because that is the world that we live in, and I'm not sure you can hide from it.
Any other comments? Good information, excellent information. Sister Thompson, I see you back there. You seem like you have a question or a thought on your mind. Let's hear from you. Is she muted? Okay.
Hold on.
Yes.
I'll offer it to her. Hold on. Sister Thompson, you're gonna see something.
Okay, I got it now.
Okay.
No, I just came on not too long ago. I'm trying to catch up.
Okay, we're talking about social media and the impact that it may have on our mental health, whether positive or negative. So,
well, I can tell you with me, it's kind of negative because when I can't get to do what I need to do, I get a little bit frustrated.
Okay.
That is the
Okay.
truth.
Okay.
That is the truth.
Well, I think there's other people in your boat as well. So can relate to that. Okay. All right. All right. Are you doing anything to improve, or how do you want to do more, or you're just being
I want to do more. My son just left. He was setting up a brand new desktop for me, although I have my laptop, right? He just left.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I said I'm going to get on Google and teach myself.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, you know, if you have any problems, our pastor can certainly help you.
Oh boy, Pastor, dish is full on overrunning.
The Bible says in all that getting, get understanding. And so, Sister Thompson, you're doing the right thing by trying to learn. Because it's something that's going to be there. But thank God we have young people in our church like Kaylin that can help us understand.
Yes, because
don't want you to get frustrated.
When I look at Sister Delphine and them and doing PowerPoints and all these kind of things, I say, man, I got to get them. I have to get I went to computer classes in 84 or 85. I did go. But then I had 2 secretaries, so I did nothing.
Okay.
And that was it.
Okay. All right. Any other comments or feedback or any other questions for Kayla?
I think social media is a wonder way for discipleship also, because some people, God calls us to be disciples. I mean, but some people are, they're timid about telling people about Jesus Christ, about spreading it. And I think social media has actually made it easier to disciple people, to spread the good news. I mean, you could simply share a positive scripture, a post. You could simply, do something, be sitting in worship service and share. And so I think that people should try. We can't get out of the responsibility that God has called us to spread the word, but I think God has made it real easy for us to spread the word also. And we should do like Sister Thompson and try. Or either go to the grocery store and talk to your cashier, but you got to tell somebody about Jesus.
But this is including Facebook, right?
All of that, yes, ma'am.
Because what I do on Facebook, I know how to get on the Facebook and go and click on that little mirror looking thing up in the corner and put on scriptures or put a little sermon, and then people would respond to it, either with amen or I like that thought or something, save and unsaved. So I do that. I know how to do that. But all those PowerPoint stuff and all of that stuff, I like to learn it though.
Okay.
Kaylin, tell me, what do you think about, I think one thing where people go wrong is I think we lose focus on why we did it. And so let's say I shared something to be encouraging or motivation. And let's say someone wasn't motivated and someone said something negative about it. I think when we lose the focus as to why we did it, as opposed to the results of what happened, that somebody gave me a meanie face or something like that, I think that's when we begin to experience the negatives of it, because we don't allow people to express their true opinions about what we shared. And we can't control how people respond to us. We can only control what we put out there. Kaylin, can you give me your thoughts on that piece right there? How we are so motivated and get emotional about how people respond to what we're trying to do?
Yes, sir. I would say, in my opinion, now I am a mental health professional, but I will suggest what I think all day, but it may not be 100% correct. But if I have some amens in here, I'll take that too. But I believe that with social media, it comes with the acceptance of that social currency. So those likes, those happy faces, those hearts that you may see during the sermon, if anybody taps the screen and you can see the hearts that come up or that form, that acceptance of that social currency makes it worthwhile to us. It makes us feel validated. It makes us feel like we have a place. But sometimes we can also definitely misinterpret a lot of information on social media, especially when you don't have that perfect face-to-face contact. So if I'm talking to Pastor Rawls and I text him, "Oh, thank you, Pastor Rawls, I really appreciate it," but I'm like, he may think on the other end, if I don't put a happy face on it, that he's upset with me. So it's all about how that communication piece circles back to social media and how important it is. Because if you don't have an understanding of yourself and how you take on different perspectives of what you're thinking and understanding, that's where social media can definitely be challenging, because you may interpret it as a bad thing when in reality, somebody may have just slipped up and pressed the wrong face. Or somebody meant to compliment you and you may have not understood it from your perspective and thought, well, they trying to talk bad about me. I didn't do anything. So that social currency definitely has a lot of influence on social media also.
That's a good point.
So
excellent point.
Roxalina, this is Sister Rawls.
Yes.
The thing that I would add is, I guess I always come to these conversations trying to listen and understand better. And I think I monitor social media in my life. I think I monitor it pretty well, and I have some apprehensions about using it or whatever as it relates to just me personally and what I gain from it. However, I think when we think about just the negative impacts and things that I just am being conscious of is those people who are on social media a lot, and it becomes their support systems. And I think in the video that you showed, if you are able to control and monitor, you don't recognize the reality of how people can get consumed with it, and it becomes part of who they are. And then when they are so invested in it, it's hard to communicate in face-to-face or in person. And so just as we saw in that video, the young lady that was getting, so caught up into that it was interfering with her ability to be able to engage socially. So if we're thinking about, some people who may be drawn just to just to social media and able to communicate. And when people are communicating back with them, people can say things and they do things that on through social media when they're not face to face, some things that they may not do when they're face to face. And they can be harsher, they can be meaner. And if you internalize all of that, it can affect depending upon where you are where your emotional intelligence is, it can affect you in very different ways. So I think just the information that you all are sharing today is, even though it may not affect me in some ways, just be conscious that somebody else may be impacted a different way. So I really took to the idea that the friend on that video was clued in to the fact that, hey, maybe my friend needs some time with me, or maybe I don't know if it was a friend, but I think she was referring to somebody coming over and really engaging and helping her kind of branch out. And so I think these are ways for us to heighten our understanding of how people might utilize it and how it may be a negative effect, and don't overlook it. And so if we see signs, if we're not experiencing it, if we see signs, that we don't just miss those signs with that somebody has used it and or is using it and it's having a negative impact on them. But it's a balance. I think there's so many positive things with it, but then at the same time, it can be, those same positive things can be turned into a negative.
Excellent comment. I totally agree. Totally agree. Look at the full picture on both sides. I totally agree. Any other questions or feedback? This is really helping everyone, I feel, to understand. And
Sister Rawls, this is Edith. I'm just sitting here looking at the faces that are on the platform tonight, and it's just such a blessing to be able to see, to gather for this occasion because the economy is out of control, and we can gather together without leaving the house. And social media has been such a impact on our ministry, as Pastor said. And I'm just so thankful. And I know that Pastor put in long hours. And I used to think he'd go to church in the morning and go home in the evening, but I believe he's there all day. And I believe he's there right now. So I don't know, but this social media, we can use it for our advantage, and it has been working for us. Like you said, our ministry grew 20% during the pandemic. And a lot of people think, they think y'all crazy. What y'all doing? They can't believe it, but it's to our advantage, you know, that social media is working for us. And I tell people, I go to church school, Sunday school every Sunday morning at 9:30, and I go to church Sunday school again at 7 o'clock on Monday night. And they say, what? I say, yes, because we got members that don't even live in Florida. And they don't come, and we got members that do live in Gainesville, but they're not coming to church on Sunday morning. So we got to offer to them what the people want, and the people want Bible Discovery Hour on Monday night at 7. So we meet the needs of the people. So social media has been a blessing to us. And thank God we have to monitor and not let it take control of our lives.
Some people don't understand the depth of it, but there's a method to it. Like some of our young people, they make real good livings off of the content that I'm not talking about little pieces of living. They make a really good living if their content hits, but you have to study it. You know, when I'm putting stuff on TikTok, there's only like 3 time slots during a 24-hour section that you can post without, you know, you can have you can take the same video that has the same content. And on a Monday, let's say, I think today it was like 4 a.m. or something like that. That was like the last time today. But whatever the times are, you can take the same content and you could press it at you could post it at a time to where it's not as effective, and a time where it is effective, and you'll have a difference, you know, 100 times more in views and people and the effectiveness of what was sent out there. And so it's not just people just, you know, like, so when we're talking about growing ministry, you know, I'm looking at a calendar and I'm looking, okay, it's okay, I missed Sunday. Okay, I don't want to get up there early on Monday. So, okay, I'm gonna put it on Tuesday because there's a 9 a.m. on Tuesday. That's a good time. And so there's a strategy about it so that you can get the most eyes on your product so that your product can grow. And it's not just everybody just out there just doing silly stuff. But people are really trying to be effective at what they do, whether it's ministry, whether it's comedy, whatever it is, whether you're selling things, there's thought being put into what they're doing.
Okay, good stuff. Kayla, you have Sister Thompson, you want to say something? Okay.
No, I'm agreeing with Pastor. I'm just agreeing with Pastor.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Kayla, did you want to add anything else in terms of your experience and what you've seen, or where you see us going in the future?
I see social media continuing to grow for years to come. I've had a plethora of experience that I'm so grateful for. I've seen ministries grow. I've seen people thrive. Some of my friends have a decent living, as Pastor Ross touched on, for creating content on social media. I, for one, have a blog and a podcast that I curated in 2020 that did a lot of numbers that I wasn't expecting. So there could be a lot of benefits to social media, and I'm grateful for it. And I'm also grateful for the negative, because you can kind of look where to monitor and what to look out for that you can kind of block, because it can be traumatic. So I am grateful for the balance. Also, as Sister Ross touched on, I'm grateful for the balance, and I'm grateful for just social media evolving as a whole, because we can't really slow time down, and it's not about the circumstance that happens, but it's about what we do with it. And I feel like we're doing a great job. So I thank you all for coming to this nice meeting and for allowing me to take some time and space. I really appreciate it, and thank you for having me.
We appreciate you. I also understand you have a blog. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. I have a blog and a podcast. I am working on branding for a actual storefront because I am a coffee enthusiast, if I would like to think of it myself. So it is in the works, and I'm definitely rebranding right now. So my website and my blog and podcast is under construction, but I did have over 150 reads on both of my blog posts combined. And I also had over 200 listeners on my podcast in 2020. So I'm ready to get back into it.
Wow. That is wonderful.
Excuse me, this is Sister Thompson. Kayla, do you know where seniors can go for classes without being embarrassed by the younger folks?
So, Mr. Thompson, I can definitely give you a lesson free of charge. You don't have to be embarrassed at all. I can help you.
Okay.
That's a wonderful offer.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
That's what I was going to say, Pastor. We should have a class at the church for the seniors.
Computer lab in the rear. We have a computer lab with 3 computers back there, a room all by itself.
Well, we can bring our own. Can we bring our own laptops?
Yes.
And we could have someone teach us.
So maybe the Emeritus Ministry, that might be one of your monthly activities. But yeah, we have all.
Teach it. All of us don't know. Nobody can teach nobody. It's like the blind leader, the blind there.
No. Kaylin or anybody can come and help us out. We can have somebody come once a month, just like we do the CPR thing and all the other stuff. And so it's there. The resources are there. We just gotta go and get it, make it happen.
Okay, I'm gonna speak to Sister Alexander. Should I speak to her about it?
She's frustrated too. She's But no, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. We'll put together.
Okay. Yeah, please,
we'll make
it happen for us.
I'll see what Kaylin's schedule looks like, and maybe at least once every 2 months or something like that. We can.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I went and I got my son said, "Ma, I told you not to buy that computer. You have a laptop. Why did you buy it?" I said, "Because I told you I'm going to learn, and I'm going to learn." Because I'm serious.
Wow.
You should have listened to your son, though, but I understand.
This has been a wonderful discussion for the benefits and the drawback, and we thank our special guests for joining us and appreciate all the information and experience and expertise that she has shared with us. So, Pastor, I'll let you have the final word.
And so I just want to encourage you all that when you see a young person on their phone in church, don't automatically assume that they're doing something contrary to what's going on in the worship service. They could just be spreading the good news of Jesus Christ. All right, Kaylin, give us closing words.
Yes, sir. I thank you again for you all having me on this wonderful discussion. There was some laughs, there was some pertinent information that was shared. If you all ever need my expertise, I have my contact information for Pastor Rawls and Ms. Roxalina. So if you ever need me, I am here. Or you guys can bother my grandparents if you don't mind either. So just run up on them after the service and say, "Hey, Danny and Aura, I need Kaylin."
Now unto him who's able to keep you from falling and present you faultless before his presence with exceeding joy. To the only wise God, I say, be glory, majesty, dominion, and power, both now and forevermore. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Kayla.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, KK.
Bye-bye.
Good night, Kayla. KK.
Good night, Roxy.